Well, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another edition of Season Ticket Holders. I'm your host, Dane Lillingstone, and I have a favourite guest returning again for another show. He is a Muay Thai future champion.
Oh, wow, what an intro.
UFC mad fan, Tom Hayfield. Tom, I got to stitch you up there a little bit. How you going, mate?
Good, man. Thanks for having us back, Dane. I appreciate it.
No worries, that. Lots of positive feedback about our first one. So,
Sweet, that's good. I didn't stuff it up too bad then.
No, you didn't. And obviously love the beautiful setup, like I mentioned before, at your house here, man. So, and what a perfect time because it's fight week, baby.
I know, it's exciting. We're back. It's this card's 20 times better than the last one, so I'm excited.
And we're ready. Obviously, you can see here, I've got the Volkanovski on.
Yep.
You're repping the...
Got my one too. It's not as graphic as yours. I'm actually on the back, but yeah, no, it's nice.
Well, I might shout out to the Culture Kings. You're engaged. So
yes, yeah, no, stayed. It's good stuff.
Eventually, we'll get a sponsorship if you're listening out there. Mate, obviously, it's Volkanovski versus Diego Lopes this weekend. UFC 314. That's what we're going to talk about. How have you been, firstly? Everything's going well, mate. I know you got a few things going on.
Yeah, everything's good. Got a few more days and I'm off to Thailand for a bit of training, so I'm excited. It's good times ahead.
So title fight coming up, or?
Nah, just training, Dane. Just training this stitch up, mate. It's all time. Can I mention something? When Dane arrived upon entry, he hit me up for some moisturiser. So he's glowing, and I've had a lot of people come around and request things, but never moisturiser. So there's a first. You still surprise me.
You can't be on TV with dry skin. All
Yes,
right, so that's
I'm
all
still
there is to
learning.
it.
Yeah, this
So
is awesome.
Shout out to Nivea as well, future sponsor potentially. So we'll see how that one goes. But Tom, UFC 314, let's get into it. Our boy Alexander, the great Volkanovski, former featherweight champion, coming off two really bad losses. We all know how it went down. But in saying that, these two losses, I mean, you put them into perspective. Volkanovski wanted to go up with Islam Makhachev, got knocked out there, going up to the lightweight belt, moving a division up. Came back, smashed Yair Rodriguez. One of his greatest performances of his career. We're used to the 5-round grinding Volk. That was the killer, lethal Volk. They ended up taking the rematch with Islam that gets knocked out there. And then go. Sorry, I didn't get the first part right, but close decision in the first fight. Has the Yair fight. Then comes to this fight, gets knocked out, and then backs it up with Ilia Topuria. You'd have to say a bit too soon. That was the big concern at the time. The up-and-coming Buck, the future, the Matador, the killer who'd been wiping out the division up until that point, and he did the same with Volk. Back-to-back losses, really close. But now Volkanovski's taken 14 months off. He's gone back to the farm. We saw it on Embedded in Countdown, spent time with his family. It seems like that's been the right thing, because we're going to get the best possible Volk that we could get in this fight.
Yeah, he looks well-rested. He looks in amazing shape. He's dropped the weight early. I feel like he's just got that fire back. You can see he's got a point to prove, and yeah, I'm really, really excited. Yeah.
It seems too like, I mean, he's pretty driven for this fight, but he's got that family as well, and that seems to be a big thing. I've seen some interviews in the lead up to this fight. He's got 3 daughters. He's got another one on the way. He's got his beautiful wife there as well, all going down there in the farm in Illawarra.
The farm looks amazing.
Doesn't it?
Yeah, he just seems like it's just all his hard work's paid off. He's got this beautiful farm, beautiful family. Good on him.
We've got
He's earned it.
We had Old Man Volk. Now we've got Farmer Volk.
Farm Volk. What's next? Good on him. I'd be freaking about the snakes, but good on him.
I hate snakes, man.
Yes.
I couldn't stand it. You wouldn't find me dead living on a property like that. But good on him, man. Taking on Volk. But just as far as, I suppose, like the fight camp, I know I got to catch up with him a few months ago before the fight got announced. They did a sports bet promotion in Sydney. Before that, it was October. He's obviously been hungry this whole time. He's always very humble. He keeps coming out during this preparation and keeps mentioning that he thinks he's been written off.
I feel like it's kind of unfair because the only people he's lost to is like 2 of the most amazing fighters that we've seen, and like people kind of forget Volk's resume and who he has beaten in the past, the likes of Volkanovski, Holloway, and like all those. It's just he was the champion for so long, and I hope he can get it back.
Well, that's a fair point, and that's what I was trying to say before as well. Like, Makhachev's obviously one of the pound-for-pound kings in the division, any division at the moment. That's how highly rated he is. No one's really been able to challenge him except Volk in that first fight, where it did go to a close decision. That
It was so close. I thought he won.
A lot of people thought he won.
And it was in Perth, and the crowd was going nuts, and even like Joe Rogan and stuff were doing that fight companion, and they're like, he's done it, he's won. Like,
I remember that. Rogan was pretty adamant that he'd won.
yeah, and then it was so close, and gee, that would have been amazing for Volk's legacy if he pulled that off.
It was incredible, man. He shouldn't have had any right to being in that fight. I remember I was down in Tasmania for a wedding. Shout out to Joey and Daniel. And we did the backup on the Sunday at the parents' house to watch those fights. And I remember at the time, we knew it was a razor thin close, but we thought he might have edged it like that. I mean, I guess, let's be honest, we've got the green and gold bias glasses on.
We might have been a little bit biased, but if Joe Rogan reckons he's seen a few fights in his time, so yeah, I think that was so close. And then they obviously ran it back, and then he got the head kick, and that was honestly hard to watch. It was like watching like one of your best mates get knocked out or something.
Heartbreaking.
Yeah, it was heartbreaking. And then came back, absolutely schooled Yair Rodriguez. Like, that was a clinic. Like, it was amazing to watch. And then the loss to Topuria, but the people he's losing to are the highest of the highest, and is Diego Lopes on that caliber? And I guess that's what we're going to find out. Because if you're asking me, I think he's on the caliber of like a Yair Rodriguez, and he's schooled Yair Rodriguez. Yeah. So it'll be interesting to see how it all unfolds.
No, you're right, because we talked about Islam as well, but when it comes to Topuria, I mean, he's proven that he is the king of that division. He was the best featherweight fighter in that division. He's now, of course, moved up. They're the only two people that Volk has lost to in this sort of decade-long GOAT run that he's put together in the last few years, his featherweight championship run. So he's not really been tested like that. When people say that he's been written off, you'd have to say, based on what he's been fighting, that can't really be the case. I can understand now where he'd be the underdog. He's going to go in with the mindset, by the sound of it, that he thinks he's the underdog. Do you think that's the right mindset to take? Because that could fire him up.
That. Yeah, that's his kind of... I think that's when he's in his happy place and he goes out and proves everyone wrong and pulls out something special, and I really hope he does.
It's an Aussie thing too, right? We love the battler, we love the land down under.
Proving people wrong. When he walks out of that song, it is proper goosebumps, hey? Like, I can't remember what fight it was, and the camera was on him, and he's like naming his daughter's names. He's like, time for daddy to go to work, and land down under drops, and it was just walks out to this screaming crowd, and I was like, proper goosebumps with tears in my eyes, and I'm like, this is what it's all about. Yeah,
I come from the land down under. So let's get into it. Now, you got to say, it hypes you up too, man. Like, I can't wait. I saw Tim Zhu actually walked out to that the other night too.
Really?
Yeah.
It's catching on. Yeah, it gets definitely the Aussie crowd going. It's amazing, and people know that song worldwide, I guess. Yeah, it's popular. On
the flip side, let's go a little bit into his opponent, Diego Lopes. He's obviously put together an impressive one recently. I went back and watched the Brian Ortega fight last night. Now, for those who don't know Lopez's background, Jiu-Jitsu king. His grandfather was a Cobra belt. I had to go and look that up, what that actually means.
Wow.
When you get past the 7th degree black belt, you get like a Cobra belt. That's one of the names to say it.
That's nuts.
He said his dad's a black belt, his brother's a black belt, his sister's a black belt. He's a black belt. He trains at his school. He actually leads it at his gym. He trains the jiu-jitsu class. So he's got that ground game and the takedowns to go with it. But then he's also shown that he's developed into a striker. I think he said his very first fight when he was like 18, he'd only had a black belt and had no striking experience. And now he's turned it into what he does now. He should have finished Ortega in 30 seconds. He had him cracked. He had him down on the ropes. It was done. For some reason, he sort of went to the ground. I don't know if he wanted to prove a point or something like that. He ends up winning a pretty dominant 3-round decision. There was no question about that. But he's got the hands, doesn't he? Like, that's what we've seen in this fight. What have you made of him?
Watching him hit pads is pretty epic. Like, he's got this kind of, I don't know, this particular style, and it's super fast, and he's kind of like hunched over, and he's just hammering it, and he's the speed, and he's got this long hair and this ferocity, and it's almost like a Clay Guida kind of just like, rah, just kind of going for it, and it's awesome to watch, and I'm like, he's definitely got hands, and it's, with his ground game, he's a very well-rounded, capable fighter that is a great test for Volk.
That's the thing that kept sort of jumping out to me. He's obviously well-rounded because his striking has developed after the jiu-jitsu. So he's got that ground base to go in and striking. We know that Volkanovski has amazing takedown defense as well. So you have to think those two things put together, we're looking at a fight that probably stays on the feet. Is that would you agree with that?
Yeah. I hope so. I hope so, because there'll be fireworks. If that's the case, like, them two striking is going to be an amazing 5 rounds if we get to watch that. That'll be awesome.
And the one thing we're going to find out, which we're hoping is not the case, but when you get to a certain age in MMA and striking, it's a thing that we've seen time and time again. When someone's chin goes, it can go. And we've seen him get knocked back-to-back losses like that really quickly. we're going to find out if his chin is made of glass now. What do you think? I mean, it's too early to tell until we actually see a fight, but is that the fear heading into this, that his chin might be gone?
At least he's had a lot of time off this round. It's not like he's rushed it, and I don't know. He looks... The people he lost to are absolutely next level, and I feel like he's in amazing shape. He looks great. A mate of mine went down to Windang to his gym to film for Main Event and saw Volk and went, holy shit, Volk, like, you look amazing. Like, he looks so good. And Volk was like, we're not effing around this time, mate. And he was just locked in and super focused. And I'm like, I think he's got a point to prove, and he's a man on a mission.
It seems that way. I mean, I've been watching all the YouTube as well on the channel. He puts those fight week shows out, which are pretty cool to watch. But he does seem focused. And every time I've dealt with him for work through Fox Sports, getting to interview him, he's an awesome guy, but he's always positive. So I'm not surprised that he's coming in with this mindset. He's spoken previously about having 2 to 3 more fights. Of course, we can't tell until he actually has this.
He just seems like such a good dude. Like, how can you not like him?
Mate,
he's just like a typical Aussie good dude who's just a weapon.
He's one of the first professional athletes I've interviewed that's the same height as me.
How good.
Not that funny, is it?
Sorry, that got me, eh?
No, he was.
The delivery on that was impeccable.
And he's actually slightly shorter, so no joke.
You might have him.
I'm taller than the former featherweight champion. There you go, put it out there.
Oh, good.
No, but he's actually, honestly, talking to him, the chances that I've got to interview him, he's just how you'd expect him. You know,
Yes.
Some people say don't meet your heroes. I don't think that applies to a guy like Volkanovski, because he's just an everyday bloke. I mean, up until his early 20s, he was playing A-grade rugby league down in Wollongong. He was a front row forward, which is crazy to think about. And then when he transitioned into MMA, he was fighting up to like middleweight or something like that. Like,
wasn't he like 110 kilo or something when he was playing footy?
Yeah, he was a prop, and he was killing it. He said he scored a try in the grand final. Like, he was obviously up there.
Imagine him bluing on the footy field at 110 kilos. That's something I'd want to see. Just old school. Jersey over the head, just uppercuts.
No chance. I mean, no contest for that one. But even like just the fact that he started off as like a middleweight, like that's pretty crazy. Like,
that
he
is
might have even
insane.
been higher. Like, he was just, that's the amount of weight he had on. He said it took a long time to get his body to adjust to eventually obviously become the featherweight champion. But yeah, absolutely crazy. And just a nice, normal bloke. Like, shake your hand, just totally all-round good Aussie bloke that you'd expect. So I've got to say, this
and a good role model for Australians. I feel worldwide, like everyone, you know, dealing with Volk would be like, oh, Australians are pretty good people, pretty nice people. Yeah, for sure.
Exactly. He'd be like the best ambassador we could possibly put out there.
That's the word I was looking for.
Ambassador. If the aliens come, we send out.
Volk
we
forward,
put Volk.
yeah. And he can also hurt people if we.
I was going to say, if it turns to shit, then we'll be all
you can
good.
sort him out.
But yeah, so I have nothing but the utmost respect, and obviously he's backed it up with what he's done in the octagon and putting together. He's going to go down as one of the greatest of all time, no matter what happens this weekend. But let's just get into the fight itself, because how do you see this one playing out? I mean, we know the Volk of old, the championship Volk. He was known as a pressure fighter. He would grind out those 5-round decisions. We saw he perfected it against like a Holloway. We saw him go into danger against Ortega and get out of that.
Yes, that guillotine that he escaped.
One of the all-time UFC
He was
moments.
like purple. And just held on and somehow got out of it. That was insane.
You can only say that that's just heart, right?
Yeah,
like, how
fully.
else do you... That's not a technique thing. He had it locked in.
He even said, like, holy shit, I'm about to lose a belt here. Like, he was... Yeah, but he just... Hard, like he said, and pushed through and then won.
And that's what separates him. That's what the championship mentality separates him from everyone else.
Yes. Yeah. I think this fight, I'm hoping that Volk comes out and just puts on a clinic, and it's a Yair Rodriguez number 2, and he's back, he gets the belt, and he goes on a little reign again, maybe 1 or 2 more fights, defends it, and then he rolls out into the sunset and retires.
He said that before too, off into the sunset, off into the ocean.
I would love that, and I think he deserves that. I think he's been such a good dominant champion, and that would be the fairy tale ending that I feel like he deserves.
But how do you think he does it? Do you think he gets the decision like we've seen in the past, or do you think there's a possibility that there is a finish in this fight? Like, how would you see it playing out?
Good question. I don't know. What do you reckon?
Well, I was going to say, I feel like this fight goes one of 2 ways. For Lopez to win, I think he finishes him. I think that's how Lopez wins. I think that
a KO.
I think if Volk's chin doesn't hold up, that's the thing that's going to be tested. he could potentially come here and finish it early, the first few rounds, or cracks him, jumps on his back, gets the rear naked, because obviously his jiu-jitsu is going to be lightning quick, and Lopes is very quick. He's 30, so he's obviously a bit younger, but he's more in his prime compared to your Volk. And for Volkanovski to win, I think it's that classic Volk that we've seen time and time again.
5-round war, tests his cardio. Is that kind of what you're thinking?
He takes everything that comes his way, and he gets it done. Like, he gets that crisp striking, gets him with the jab, throws with the overhands, and we've just seen him time and time and do it. Haven't seen it so much recently, but I mean, I suppose even looking back to the Islam fight, the first fight, that's sort of the game plan that you'd expect, and that's what sort of got him to where he was, the one he perfected during those championship rounds. That's going to be my tip. I'm going to stick with that. I'm going to go Volk by a decision, 5 rounds.
Yeah, I can definitely agree with that for sure. If he tests his cardio, because Diego's never had a 5-round fight, has he?
And that's it. So
Volk's had multiple. So
up against one of the GOATs.
Yes, I think. Imagine the 4th and 5th round, potentially Diego's never, they're uncharted waters for him, and if he gasses and Volk doesn't, and I agree with what you're saying.
So you're taking my tip?
I reckon sports bet. Let's do it. I might put $5 on it.
I think it was paying around $3.50. Don't quote me on that, but I think it was around.
It's a cool $15.
Yeah,
why not? Right.
And I want to touch on it a little bit, even though as Aussies we're not going to want to think about it too much. The flip side on, if he doesn't get that win and then maybe just defend a couple more times, if he does lose 3 in a row, potentially in devastating fashion, if he goes down a knockout, early finish, that type of thing that we've seen, I struggle to see what's really next for him. I'm a little bit worried about that. I don't think he's the type of guy who's going to make a rash decision and cut and lay down the gloves in the octagon that night. I don't think he's just going to do that. But I also struggle to see, I feel like he's the type of guy, and I said this on previous podcasts, that he needs to fight for the belt. He needs that motivation. I don't know what sort of exhibition money fights could be made for him. He's got his Cooking for Volk. He's got his YouTube channel. He's obviously building a social media presence. He's got plenty of sponsorships these days. But I'd be a little bit concerned if he does go down, where would he go from here?
Yeah, that's scary to think about, because it's kind of like, what is next? He's who would be the next opponent, and does he have the drive to, have 1 or 2 more fights to get back into that belt contention again
against another young, up and coming, hungry.
Exactly, and he's aging, and I haven't even thought about the flip side.
Well, let's start to think about it. We'll do our wrap up podcast next week as well.
Trying to be positive and on the Volk fights, but that is a scary thing to think about, and a really good question. What do you think would? Yeah,
look, I don't want to think about it too much, because you can't really do like a Holloway 4. I mean, I don't know what sort of like exhibition-y type fights. I'm sure he's the type of guy, though, who does want to sort of take on another contender. Anyway, mate, we'll just have to wait and see.
Maybe a big money fight just to retire on, or
Conor
something.
McGregor.
Imagine. That'd be pretty good. 2 older boys going for it.
Volk would kill him.
Yeah,
Well, anyone would kill with Conor at the moment. But
he's doing the bare knuckle stuff, hey?
Yeah,
it's going nuts.
Oh, who knows? We'll get into him more later, actually. But look, and tune in next week, because we are going to plan to do a wrap podcast as well. So we'll get right into what is going to be next for Volkanovski. But let's flip to the co-main event. The former Bellator champion Michael Chandler up against the pride of Liverpool up there in Paddy Pimblett. Quite a tear, hasn't lost in the UFC. Chandler's been on an interesting run, like we're going to talk about. Conor McGregor, he waited for that fight for something like 2 years in the end. Obviously has come back now and fought, most recently against Charles Oliveira. Didn't really threaten him, I would say, too much, other than a sort of a backflip towards the end for the fans. He's 2-4 in the UFC. He's getting on in age, but he's got 5 fight night bonuses. So we know what to expect in a Chandler fight. He's exciting. He brings it to him, whether it's a knockout or just some sort of crazy moments like in that Oliveira fight. He brings it. Whereas Paddy, he's on a great tear, hasn't lost in the UFC. He's obviously got a great ground game. But I don't know if he's been tested like this either. Chandler's been in these big fights all throughout his career, but has Paddy really been tested? How do you see this one?
Yeah, that's exactly right. I feel like Paddy Pimblett's never versed anyone like Michael Chandler, and Michael Chandler has fought the best of the best in some of the most entertaining fights in UFC history. You're never going to be bored watching Michael Chandler fight. He's amazing to watch. He wears his heart on his sleeve. He gives it 150%, and Paddy Pimblett obviously is up and coming, and he's had some impressive fights, but this is his biggest test today, and it'll be really interesting to watch. I feel like you'd have to back Chandler just from his track record and how good he's been in the past, I guess. Even though he doesn't have all the wins, they're entertaining fights.
He does, and that's what we love. I mean, there is a certain point where you do just want to see a banger, right? And I know that I personally just get excited when I see Chandler's name in a fight card.
Same. Same.
And we talked about a little bit previously off the podcast, but we do remember that time too when he came in as the former Bellator champion. There were such high expectations on Chandler that he would come in. I think you were saying you thought he would be the champion.
There was a lot of hype when he came in, and I think he was the backup fighter for Khabib Gaethje was that in Abu Dhabi or something?
Might have been.
Yeah. And he was brought in from Bellator, and then obviously Khabib retired that fight, and I felt like it was a bit of a changing the guard, and I believed the hype from Chandler, and I thought this guy's going to come in and he's going to be UFC champ, and he obviously had that fight against Hooker and ended that in pretty dramatic fashion.
Crazy.
It was pretty impressive.
Yeah.
And then the fight against Oliveira, he was so close to winning that and so close to becoming champ, and then obviously he lost later in that fight. But
and then the rematch. Yeah.
The rematch, then yeah. But oh man, I'm a massive fan. I find like his stuff on social media, he's very like motivational, and he's always coming out with content. He's always training his ass off. He's super fit. I find him like he's a good family man. I think he's just a good dude.
Some would say too motivational as well. I know I've heard that thrown out there.
Sometimes you're like, all right, I need a day off here. But he's a weapon, and it's cool. It brings you up, and it makes you want to train, and I think he's doing good things. Yeah.
On the flip side, we've got Paddy, and I suppose the criticism of him too is that UFC is maybe protected a little bit, maybe given them the hype train, fed into that, hasn't really given him anyone that's too much of a challenge. This is going to be his biggest challenge of his career, so we are going to find out where he's at. I'm still not completely impressed by his striking. I think that's still a big gap in his game. I think he's obviously shown with his ground game and his wrestling what he can do. But I don't know how he can go against Chandler, who can land bombs and easily finish this fight. I don't think Paddy can do the same thing.
Yeah.
We've seen him against struggle to get rid of Tony Ferguson. But even though he is getting better, I just feel like if this does stay on the ground, stay on the feet rather, I think Chandler does have the big advantage there.
Yeah. Do you reckon Pimblett will just try and put him straight to the ground then? Is that what you're thinking?
Well, I think if he's smart, that would probably be the way to go. I mean, I have no idea. This is one of those fights where I'm really not sure how it's going to go, even how to predict it. But I feel like that would be the smart thing if you were Paddy, because I just think he's striking. But maybe he'll prove it to us in this fight, you know. So maybe this is it.
And Chandler's not afraid to wear a few, and just walk in and throw bombs, and he can take a punch. And I feel like he's got a lot of power in his hands. If he lands one of them on Pimblett, like who knows if he can withstand that.
And that's what I just feel the difference in this fight is. There's a power difference, you know. So it's either the striking power of Chandler versus the ground game of Pimblett. So how do you see it going down?
Well, maybe Chandler will be, he gets pretty excited in fights, and I feel like sometimes his fight IQ, he's obviously going in with a game plan, and he's very, very good, but he loves entertaining the crowd. He loves throwing bombs. He loves, giving super entertaining fights. Maybe Pimblett obviously is aware of that and might be play the smarter game plan and have an answer to that, or shoot in and take him down and try and put him on the ground.
What's your bet?
I'm going Chandler. I can't not. He's one of my favorite fighters, man. He's awesome.
Is it straight up
I
win,
think
or you
KO.
think KO?
Yeah. But whatever I pick, the opposite happens.
Or maybe I should just go devil's advocate and say Pimblett submission, just for the sake of our thing. But I mean, I could definitely see that as the outcome too. But it's one of those fights. I think this one is a bit tough to pick.
Yes, it's going to be awesome to watch. So I can't wait. And that's going to be like it's the sickest card.
And I think Pimblett will start as favourite, and it also is going to be 5 rounds. So that's going to be interesting. I'm glad it's 5 rounds. Yeah, this is going to be a 5-round fight. So
hopefully both fights go the distance and they're just wars, like as in the finish is in the 5th round.
Yeah, no, we'll take that. Yeah, 1 minute to go.
So we get our money's worth, and we get to see a good 20 minutes of fighting of each fight. Yeah.
No, but you're right. I am just excited to see Chandler. I think he's a name. When you add him to a card, that's a good thing. And
he's obviously, you can tell he's trying to get busy because he had that time off waiting for that McGregor fight that never happened. He's obviously aging, and he's like, righto, let's get some fights going. Let's, because is Pimblett even ranked? Like, I think he's taken a bit of a gamble here, and Pimblett's got a lot to gain.
He's outside the 15. He's trying to crack into it.
So this is his big chance, and I guess Chandler it's a decent name and another good payday and keeps him active. So
it's going to be a good fight.
Yeah, it's going to be awesome.
We'll go to our next one now, and this is going to be interesting because there's been plenty of smack talk in the lead up to this. It's Bryce Mitchell versus John Silva. John Silva, I need to learn that. But I think with Bryce, we obviously know he had some ability. He also got knocked out really badly 2 fights ago. But it's what he's done outside of the cage that we've known about. He thinks that
knockout was so gnarly. I thought he was dead. He didn't move. Yeah, for like I think they stopped filming him because it got gnarly. Like, he didn't move for like a minute or two, and then the cameras went off him.
It was one of the most brutal you've seen. Yeah. And then he came back and he bounced back with a win over Cron Gracie, but I wouldn't read too much into that result. But it's the build-up to this fight. There was a press conference, and he put it on his social media, but Mitchell said that he thinks his opponent, Silva, is possessed by the demon. And not only is he possessed by the demon, he's putting the demon into his dreams, into Mitchell's dreams, and it's causing nightmares. And that beautiful women are being sent his way in his nightmares, Tom.
Is that a nightmare?
I don't know about you.
Wow,
Is that a nightmare?
It sounds like he's had a few head knocks. I don't know. Is he all good?
Well,
or?
apparently they're trying to lust him away from his wife. So beautiful women are being sent
and
from the demon.
His opponent's fault.
Yeah. So
work that out.
Exactly.
I think it's his own fault.
I think Sean Strickland had some words to say about that too. But he's had some very we don't need to get into it. He's had some very controversial remarks already in the past. Dana White's been questioned about it. He has condemned a few of the things he said, but he's a flat earther as well, just to add that in there. Look, as far as his fighting ability, he obviously had a lot of talent, but he's coming up against an absolute killer in Silva and a 12-fight win streak. I think you'll find that every single one of those except one was a finish, and that's a bunch of knockouts, a couple of submissions in there. So maybe he's going to be shut up for good in this one.
They might be feeding him to a wolf here. This could be good to watch. I might put a bit of money on that guy.
Demon wolf.
Yeah. He's going to give him some more demons by the sounds of it once he knocks him out.
Oh, yeah, I just can't get over that demonic tree thing. But yeah, so I don't know. I mean, if that's a nightmare, give it to me.
Yeah.
But yeah, it seems like this is going to be an interesting one. I think a lot of people are going to be calling for Mitchell to be finished here just for what he said. But do you have any thoughts on this one? I mean, Silva's obviously coming in with a lot of momentum, and that obviously plays a big part in fights like this.
Yeah, I'm excited to watch another great fight on this card. Yeah, I'm hoping Silva wins. Sure.
Will be interesting, mate. Heading into the next fight, Yair Rodriguez against Patricio Pitbull. Now, he's, of course, the former Bellator champion, multiple-time champion. Came in with a lot of hype, but we are getting him at the back end of his career. He's now 37. He's lost 2 of his last 3. He is coming off a knockout finish, but he's been sort of, I guess, up and down these recent later stages of his career. Unorthodox striker. It'll be exciting to see him. We know Yair, of course, even just from Volk, we were talking about a little bit earlier.
Yes.
He got smashed in that fight. Also went down again to Ortega, I believe. So he's coming off a 2-fight skid. Do you have any thoughts on this one? It's exciting to see a guy like Pitbull when they finally do sort of this cross-promotional thing, but you never really know what to expect in a UFC debut fight.
Yeah, it's tricky because the caliber with Bellator and UFC, there's obviously a difference sometimes, and Yair Rodriguez he's a killer, man. He's so exciting to watch. He's got the most unorthodox style. He's throwing these crazy kicks, and he's super fast and electric, and he's so entertaining to watch. And I feel like that's going to be another awesome fight. I can't wait for that. I'm a big fan of Yair Rodriguez. I think he's awesome. And when Volk schooled him, I'm like, wow, that's how good Volk is. Like, yeah.
That was, because I remember even leading the lead up to that fight, there was some concerns that was going to be Volk's one of his biggest challenges at that time.
Yeah.
But Volk flipped that script completely on its head by putting in
Hope he does it again.
Yeah, exactly.
Against Lopes.
But that was one of Volk's most impressive, dominant performances. But,
Yes.
against a really lethal, dangerous guy. And he came out and did it. So I have no idea how it's going to go, but it should be another cracking fight.
What do you reckon?
Well, I do like Yair, but obviously coming off what he does, I mean, I remember the hype with the Chandler when he came from Bellator. I think that was a little bit different. We got Chandler a bit more in his prime. But Pitbull, I mean, I haven't personally seen a lot of his fights, but I know he comes with a lot of hype, and I know, he's got a fan base out there that does love what he does. And I always like it when they at least get a little bit of the time in the UFC.
Yes.
It's always a shame when fighters don't get... I remember Fedor is the biggest one for me. Fedor never got to fight in the UFC. He was considered one of the greatest of all time, heavyweight, tall through everyone, never got to fight. So I think at the very least, it's good that we get to see him in the UFC.
Yes, I agree.
And then the other thing about this card too is it's probably the most well-rounded card we've seen, at least pay-per-view wise, in recent memory. We've got 5 good fights.
Yes.
And that's what we've been waiting for, right? We've had a lot of these fights where you've got your Alex Pereiras, John Joneses, who can just sort of top-heavy these cards, but there's 5 good fights in this card, which is always good to see as a fan, right?
Yes, it's solid from start to finish, and one of those cards where you want to get to the pub early and watch every single fight.
Well, we're going to get very early.
Yeah. Well, in Thailand, it's at 9 a.m.
I'm going to get into that very shortly, but there's one more fight.
I am nervous.
Dominic Reyes, Nikita Krylov. Now, we all know about Reyes, obviously. He arguably beat John Jones many years ago for the belt. He didn't, of course. He didn't get that decision. He sort of then went on a big fight skid where it looked like he might get released from the promotion. He's since bounced back and won 2 in a row.
One of those guys that fought John Jones and it like changed their life, eh?
Yeah.
Like, same with that Thiago Santos when he fought John Jones. Never the same. Like, he just wails on people. And I feel like that's what happened to Dominic Reyes as well.
Well, it's going to be interesting because he's up against the guy who's won 3 in a row. So they're both coming in with a bit of momentum. But and when it comes to light heavyweight, you just never know.
Yeah, and another solid fight. And Dominic Reyes he's got some serious knockout power. And yeah,
it'd be good to see him back.
Yeah,
so you going knockout Reyes?
Yeah, I reckon.
Yeah, I'll back you. Why
Sweet.
I don't win any UFC bets, so I don't mind.
Yeah, we'll see how we go.
And you just touched on it there, mate. But I think that's pretty much from the cards. Is there anything else you want to touch on?
Yeah, no, I think it's solid from start to finish, and it's one of the best cards we've had all year, I reckon.
And I think Jim Miller on the prelims as well. And
he's had like 400 fights.
He's had 1 million fights in the UFC.
Still going.
And I still won a bet on him recently with submissions. So he's going to be a big underdog again. But
how old would he be now, do you reckon?
I can check, but he'd be
late 30s.
Close to the end.
Yeah, because he was on UFC 300, and I think that was like a bit of a thank you fight for his service, because he's had so many fights and he's been going for so long, and he's always an entertaining fighter, always awesome to watch.
Yeah, well, he's 41.
Wow.
So there you go.
Gee, you pulled that up quick, mate. That's impressive.
41. So... we do need to work on our setup eventually.
Yes.
But yeah, 41, so he's still going. But that's just one to watch on the prelims anyway. But that leads me into where we're watching the fights, because you've got exciting. Obviously, we talked about you going to fight camp in Thailand. What number will this be for your fight camp?
This is the third one. I haven't been for 18 months, so excited. There's a bit of a crew of us, and yeah, we're pumped. We're training at Bang Tao, which is Volk's gym. He's a part owner in that, and at AKA Thailand. So a couple of big, well-known gyms, and just going to lock into a few classes, a few private lessons, and yeah, hopefully improve on some Muay Thai. It'd be good.
When's the fight?
I don't know. I'll tell you what.
He hates when people asking that.
I'll announce it on this podcast first, eh?
You heard it here first. Season ticket holders exclusive.
Good. Yeah, but so we arrived the Saturday night, and the Sunday morning at 9 a.m. is when the card starts. So I've already sussed the sports bar that is playing it. So I think that'll be a bit of a get on the singer's day and have a few beers and nice and early, and then just go to bed early.
No training that day.
No training that day, but the timing's awesome. Like, to be in Thailand for that card and watching it with your mates, like, I live for this stuff. It's going to be awesome.
Like a beer garden situation? Have you seen any pictures? Or
I don't know. Thailand's a bit random. It's probably literally just like a bar with a pool table and one TV screen.
Yeah,
but
hopefully a big one.
It'll be fine. It'll be awesome as long as it's on, and it's going to be good. It's good crew of us, so it'll be epic.
Well, that'll be good. Well, I'm going to be at my favourite sports bar in the whole wide
world. I'm excited for your weekend as well. You got to run them through.
I was supposed to have the boys' weekend going away for my good friend Cade, and it was supposed to be in Brisbane before the fake cyclone hit. No real cyclone, but it didn't hit as bad as I thought it was going to hit in Brisbane. But it's been delayed, so now I'm going to Cairns this weekend to my favourite sports bar, the Jack. Big shout out to the Jack. That's my favourite sports bar that I think I've ever been to. Very good memories of UFC Sundays up there. 3 big screens, nice sprawling beer garden.
How good.
Beautiful weather in Cairns up there, mate. It's always warm.
That's awesome. We'll both be sweating watching it, eh? Because I'll be Thailand
and
you'll be
reasons.
Cairns.
Yeah,
and the adrenaline. Yeah,
and we'll get the prelims nice and early. That's going to be a long weekend. I don't know how much sleep I'll have had by the time Sunday awesome. Lunchtime rolls around. Maybe none. We'll see. But no, that'll be good, and a bunch of good mates up there. But especially for fights like this with a Volk fight, I mean, you'll be in Thailand, but you might even get some local supporters there with him training out of there. But people do come out for Volk fights, right? He's one of the biggest draw cards that we have, so it's going to be interesting.
Whenever you watch it in Australia and Rob Whittaker or Volk's watching, you see it's almost twice as packed as normal, just because they're Aussie legends and the Aussies turn out to watch them fight.
And it is Volkanovski. I mean, I haven't even tried to think about it too much, but just as a fan, taking back any sort of predictions that we made, but I just love that guy. You know what I mean? Like, he's such a cool guy. You know what I mean? I remember telling him once during one of my interviews, I love your jacket. You know, just fanboying out.
Just full fanboy.
Yeah, he was wearing this like sort
if
of
he
bomber...
listens to this, he's gonna be like, "Whoa, man!"
Yeah, he's wearing like this cool like bomber jacket. I was like, "Man, nice jacket." That's how I started the interview on Fox Sports.
He would have been stoked.
Yeah, who's this such? Who's this guy? No, but he's awesome, mate. So
got asked him to go back to back before you start the interview, to see who's taller.
Oh man, I wonder if yeah. Well, it's me. It is me. I think
you should get that on a shirt.
I think he said I'm taller than Volk.
Yes.
I think he said like even without shoes he could potentially be 5'5". Like he's admitted that he sort of jacks up the. I think officially maybe on his Wikipedia it might say 5'7".
Can you imagine him as a prop in footy, 5'5" and 110
front rower.
kilos? Yeah, just like a cube coming at you, eh?
Do you know what position I played in rugby league?
What position?
I was a prop.
Sorry, I shouldn't be laughing. Why am I laughing?
Yeah, it's like this before.
No, sorry.
I was a prop too.
Bullshit.
Yeah.
What?
In under 14, Centenary Panthers, shout out to Centenary.
Sick.
I played my first year with braces on, and I was just a little scared running around because every time I got hit, I'd start bleeding. Got the braces off, came back a season later, front row forward. It was like C grade, but...
How good? No, that's fine.
Run over. I was the same height I am now.
Sick.
So...
Fuck, he sprouted early and then just, yeah.
Well, Mum told me up until I was 30 I'd have a growth spurt.
Yeah, there you go.
And I believed her that long term.
I was second row in centre, but I only played till I was like 16, and my nickname was Head High Hayfield because I just used to head high people because I was too scared to go around the legs.
Yeah, now you do it with your Muay Thai. Look, Tom, I think we've broken it down pretty well, mate.
Yeah.
You have a lot of fun in Thailand.
Thank you, Brian. Have fun up in Cairns. That'll be awesome with you, mate. It's been a long time coming. Your last trip got postponed, so that's exciting, man.
I'm absolutely frothing.
Oh, good.
I cannot wait. Look, ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for listening again for season ticket holders. Thanks a lot, Tom. We're going to be back next week. Have a bit of a wrap.
Perfect.
Can't wait, mate. Everyone, take care. Thanks for listening. Bye-bye.
Thanks, guys.